I believe at the heart of board gaming is storytelling, and everyone has a story to tell. Welcome to Have a Seat with Amanda Lee, and join me each week as I introduce designers, publishers, content creators, artists, and more from the board game community. There's room for everyone at my table, so have a seat. Hello, and welcome to Have a Seat with Amanda Lee. I am your host, Amanda Lee Anderson, aka Empty Nest Board Mama on the gram. We are here for episode 2, and I have a very special guest with me today. He is the designer behind Potions of Azerland, Manatee Sanctuary, the upcoming Kickstarter, as well as co-founder of Warped Reality Games and 2-time ring winner at the board game World Series of Board Gaming, Mr. Gray Baker.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Gray, how's it going?
It's going swell. Better now that I'm here.
Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me.
Of course.
Just wanted to give a little bit of backstory about how this came to be, how we met last year at Dice Tower East in Orlando. I was super pumped to hear about Manatee Sanctuary and hunted it down, knowing that he was going to be there. I was actually there demoing cities for DeVere, which was just in the same little row as Warped Reality Games was. And that first night, I ended up playing Potions with Gray. He taught us how. So he was the first designer I'd ever met and played a game with. And the rest of the weekend, I spent fangirling over Potions of Azerland. So after I taught somebody cities, I was like, but have you played Potions? Go find the young one down the row. But enough about me. I want to talk about you, Gray. Tell me all about yourself. Anything you're willing to share.
Oh boy, there's not a lot to tell, to be honest. So I have been designing board games now for about 8 years technically, though the first many board games I made were awful and I threw them all away. I transitioned to doing this full time about 2 years ago from I was just working a regular sales job. I'm married to a wonderful wife. My wife's Clara, and we have 4 children, 2 cats, a dog, and a lizard. So that's our kids.
Home.
Yeah. And yeah, I design board games. I play board games. I love playing games. I love making them, and that's most of what I do. Honestly,
Got a top 5.
Ooh, top 5. The easiest one is the one that's right behind me, Mage Knight.
Okay.
That game I think is probably one of the best games ever made. Though it's as fiddly as can be, it is a masterpiece. Castles of Burgundy. It's so good. I have to say Far Away, just by the sheer number of times I've played the game.
On BGA, yeah. I stopped you on BGA just a little bit first to get some fodder for the podcast. And he's played, close to 4,800 games on BGA. And I looked at it, it was like, far away, far away, far away, far away, far away. Yeah. I'm like, he must be in a tournament or something.
No, it's just quick. It's just quick and easy. You can play like 10 games in an hour, no problem. Past that, it gets muddled. There's so many good options, but I think that's a good top
Castles
3.
Is a good one.
Yeah, Castles
is definitely in my top 10 too. As is Potions. Potions of Azerland. Let's talk a little bit more about it. How did that come to be? What inspired it? Tell me your process.
Sure. So I was laying in bed one night and I was just thinking about game design, game theory, and theming, as I often did. I was pretty stuck on the other game I'd been working on. There was some mechanical problems with the game that I wasn't able to fix. So I was like, let's look at something new.
And that's the one you just trashed?
Yeah, that's one that's gone. It was I actually designed that game when I was like 7, and I used to, so fun tangent. I used to play that in church with my buddy. We like made it up and I would play it in church with him. And then when I started really looking into this more, I was like, I wonder if like the very, very core of that design is interesting. And I was like, I wonder if that can be made into something. Okay. Unfortunately, the core of the design also breaks the whole game. So it's a weird dichotomy. But anyway, so I was laying in bed thinking about games, and I was just thinking, I don't know how it came to my mind, but like potions, right? Magical potions, pretty common theme. But I was like, it'd be interesting is if you have to give them to people, right? As you'd expect, people want them, but then you can also drink them because they're magical and get powers. And that was the core. As soon as I thought of that, I was like, that's a good idea. I know that's a good idea.
That's a good
Can I
idea.
implement it properly?
Mm-hmm.
So then I just started thinking through, and really the core of the game came together that night, and like 20 or 30 minutes of me kind of thinking through it. Yeah, a lot changed from then, but the idea of like, I was like, well, you have to go get ingredients, so you have to go forage, right? And I was like, well, if I go out first, I should get more things because they're more readily available, whereas if you go out later, you'll get less things. And I was like, well, how do you make that a mechanic in a game that flows well? And that's how I came up with the tile holder. Well, back then it was not a tile holder, but the idea behind those and how the priority system worked.
Yeah. So for anybody who hasn't played Potions of Azerland, the core mechanic, I guess you would call it, is this prioritization tracker. It's a little, I should have gotten it out of my box up there. It just showed it. But you have 5 different actions, and then you get 5 tiles, 1 through 5.
I have one right here, actually.
You would explain it so much better than I would. So,
yeah, so let's see where it is. So you got this tile holder. You've got 5 different numbered actions, and they can be flipped upside down as well. It's really hard to put in when you're not looking. And so each action exists up here, and you can rearrange these however you want. And so you put your 1 where the thing you want to do the most. So if you're like, I really need to forage, you put your 1 there. And then your 2 might go to studying. If you're like, I want to study, but not as bad. And if you're like, I don't care about market, I'll go whenever, you put your 5 there. Or if you say, I really don't want to do it at all, you just flip it upside down and you get money instead. This is an old version. You can see it doesn't really fit. But through those choices, then everyone reveals simultaneously, and then you compare what everyone did. So if I went first to forage and you put 2, I'm like, haha, I just barely got you, so I'll get a little bit more out of it than you might, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that was that mechanic. I'd never seen anything like that before, and I wasn't fully grasping it, like I said, because I remember the very first time I played, I kept putting priority in the market, and I had no money, and I would like forage a 5, so I was getting nothing. I had no money. Like, well, this sucks. I can't make any potions. I can't drink any potions. I need to. So what's the strategy? Where do you put the priority?
So in the beginning, a lot of people will just put it on forage over and over because it's the easiest way to get core resources, and it's just simple to understand. As you play more, the people who have played, 5, 6, 7 games, what you'll tend to do, you really need to pay attention to the tendencies of the other players and also what you anticipate they'll do. If you're sitting there with 10 coins, it's a pretty good chance you're going to go to the market that round. So if you are, maybe I just don't do that. Or if I am, I need to make sure I'm first so I can get something before you buy it all out. What I like to do now is I actually foraging, which a lot of people put their 1s there. I'll just throw my 5 there. I'll be like, I'll take whatever, but I'll beat you in everything else, right? You kind of you subvert them in the other locations. So, but there's a lot of strategy. It really depends on who you play. If I play my roommate who helped me test the game immensely, I play very differently than when I play new players because we have a kind of our own meta going on, right? And the player count changes it a lot too. 2 players is much more cutthroat. 3 and 4 players, you can try and get away with sneakier things there. So, yeah.
And the production value of the game is absolutely gorgeous. That was one of the things that really drew me to it. First and foremost is the artwork by Andrew Bosley. And I was super jealous to learn when I was there at Dice Tower that part of the Kickstarter was to one of the the tiers of the Kickstarter was to be in the game and have a card designed after you by Andrew Bosley, and I would give anything to have Andrew Bosley draw me.
That was actually a really hard choice for us. We weren't sure if that was a good idea or not because we're just 2 guys. It's just myself and Tyler, and just like making games, and he wants to do the publishing part more, and so. But we want to make games that we would like and in the way that we expect. Oh, you got a friend there. So it was hard to decide whether or not we should because we didn't want it to look like, we're trying to do like a cash grab or whatever. We just wanted to let people have that opportunity. But we're glad we did it. People loved it. So it was really fun, and getting people in the game. There's a lot of people that have seen themselves or they have their abilities. And I tried to make their abilities really cool for the most part. Like some of them are more basic, but they are interesting. Like there's these two, one of the guys, he backed it and he was like, I don't want to be in it. I want my 2 daughters in it. It's going to be their Christmas present to them. And we're like, oh, that's such a cool idea. So I made their ability used the number 2 as part of it to make it make sense because there's 2 of them. It was fun.
So what have you been playing lately, Greg?
Ooh, a lot of stuff. Well, not as much as I'd like to. I wrote it down some of the stuff though because I kind of forget. So I've been playing a lot of Far Away, but that's pretty common for me. I just learned, and I should have learned this game forever ago, El Grande, which is the classic area control game, considered by most to be the best. I just played it, loved it. I played it like twice on BGA now since learning it in real life. It's really fun.
Have you played Rebirth?
I have not.
Rebirth, the new Ryder Knizia one.
Oh, okay. No, I have not.
Check it out. That. Rebirth. I think it's on BGA. I might be wrong.
Even if it's not, my Sunday group plays. They'll probably have it. They have everything. I just learned Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, which is a box cover I've always thought looked really nice, but I didn't know anything about it. It's a rondelle mechanic, which aren't very common, and it does it very well. It's super smooth, very clean design. So I've been playing that, enjoying it, and of course Castles of Burgundy. And then my Planet Unknown just came in. So I unboxed it. I've been playing it online, but I unboxed it and I'm like ready to go now. So I'm very excited to play that because I think that's, in my opinion, one of the best designs that's happened in the last 5 years. It's such a...
That's what a lot of people are saying.
It's so clean. It's so smart too. The Lazy Susan is such a simple thing, right? You think anyone can think of this, but they did it in such a good way. Like as soon as I saw that game, I was like, oh, why didn't I think of that? That's such a brilliantly simple design.
Yeah.
So,
the wheel. Gotta use the wheel.
Gotta use the wheel.
Reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Anything else you've been playing lately or you want to talk about?
That's most of what I've been playing. Yeah, just working on getting Manatees ready to go for the Kickstarter this month and gearing up for that and gearing up for all these conventions we're going to since we'll be at SaltCon and Dice Tower West this year back to back.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna be very busy. I'm gonna be very tired. I bought one of those little voice box things that people have finally, so I can like sit down on the table, so I don't have to yell during the events. I can just talk normally, and they'll start hearing me. So,
if you need a video of you teaching potion, I remember I took standby. If you need a recording of you teaching potions, I remember I did take one of those just because I love the way that you explain it, especially with like, you're going to drink a potion. You just did such a great job of that. So I wish I could say that I was going to be joining you at Dice Tower West and SaltCon, but we'll see.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully everything works out. So tell me more about Manatee Sanctuary and what we can look out for.
Yeah, so we're launching on February 25th. So mark your calendar, be ready to go, and grab the game. So Manatee Sanctuary is a much lighter game. It's right up there. Yes. Nice. It's a much lighter game than Potions. Potions was a midweight game. When I made Manatees, the idea is I wanted to make something that's more family friendly, and I wanted to make something that played a higher player count so that because 5 players is always really awkward. I feel like there's very few good 5-player games. There's a lot that play 5, but they aren't good at 5.
Right.
And I'm obsessed, as you might have picked up on, by simultaneous actions.
Yeah.
Planet Unknown, Potions uses it, and Manatees uses it. So it's a big deal for me. So Manatee Sanctuary, the idea, it's a I split you choose card game where you're drafting using that method. All the cards are multi-use, so you have to use them for either the top half or the bottom half of the card. And you're expanding a sanctuary, right? As you'd expect for manatees. You're making a sanctuary, and then you're attracting manatees there. And there's different manatees that do different things, and they all are very hungry. So you have to feed them. Failure to feed your manatees makes them swim away, and that's not good because you score points based on how many they're there. And you lose 2 points whenever they do swim away. So it's a quick game, 30 minutes, but it plays 1 to 6. I actually just made a solo mode for it per the request of a few of our reviewers we sent it to. And so I spent a few days and figured that out. It was easier than I thought it would be. And I made like some challenges for it, and I made them hard. It's not going to be an easy solo mode. Some of them are easier, but some of them are. It took me 6 tries to beat the last one. So that one's really tough.
So it's not just a beat your last score solo mode.
So that's an option. I'm going to put like tiers, like, hey,
Okay.
here's how well you do. But then there's also, it's going to be 8 challenges that are like, see if you can score 70 or more points while doing this extra thing.
Okay.
You not normally have to do, or with this
Awesome.
extra hindrance. So I think that adds a lot. And then I'll give you a sneak peek because technically we haven't announced this yet. I don't believe. Maybe Tyler has. But
I know what you're going to say. I do. I betcha.
We have official, because you're part of the VIPs. We have officially made 2 versions of the game. So there's 2 separate cover arts, both by Andrew Bosley, of course.
Of course.
And they are the same exact game. Other than the art and some of the colors in the box, the game is identical. There's no difference. But the reason we're doing it is because it allows you to play now up to 12 players. You can combine the
That's
2 games.
crazy. I love it.
So
the only thing that's going to be different is the box art and like the player colors.
Yeah,
so
all the player color components.
Okay.
And then there's going to be a little symbol on the cards because there's the mermaid edition and the sea cow edition. That's what we're calling them.
Okay.
So there's like a little mermaid on one and a little, you just put literally a cow. It's quite amusing on the other one. And so that way you can sort your cards if you do combine them very easily.
Okay.
I think that's the only 3 differences though. It's very minor, but it lets you play up to 12 and it still only takes 30 minutes. So you can play 12 in 30 minutes still, which is nice.
Yeah. I love both cover arts, but this second one, it's more of a solo, a big focalized manatee.
Yes.
And it looks like he's just like, come play with me. Like, I love that one. I can't wait. I'm going to definitely get that one too.
I do. So that was one of the covers we had an option of originally, but we were like, it might be a little too in your face. We'll go with the more like mellow cover. But then when we decided to do this, I was like, perfect. Now you can do them both.
Now you can use both.
Because I like that one too. I think it's so adorable because he's like,
play
with me. I'm like, yeah.
It is.
So,
it is.
Very exciting.
So other than Manatee Sanctuary, are you working on any other games?
Yes.
Anything you could tell us?
I can tell you, I'll say things, but none of them are even like, they might just disappear. Who knows? I'm working on the sequel to Potions of Azerland, which is the game Mines of Azerland.
Okay.
It's not the dwarves, because there's dwarves and potions, right? And so now we're where the dwarves are. That game is absurdly early in development. I can't say it's very far away from being done.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was working on that, I have had an idea for a game. I'm not going to give any specifics on this one because it might never even occur. But I've had this idea for a while for a game, and it started coming together a little bit more clearly in my mind. Specifically, I came up with the core mechanic, kind of like Potions, not with Pow Holder at all, but I finally came up with a core mechanic that is simultaneous, kind of, and super simple and interesting. And as soon as I came up with it, I was like, this is good. I know this part's good. I don't know how to make the rest of the game, but this core is really strong. So I'm working on that right now, and that might take precedence over the sequel. Well, we'll see. I'm just going to let my mind do it at once and make whatever works.
Is it going to have a postal theme?
It is. It is not going to have a postal theme. It will have
is there a mailman manatee?
No mailman manatees. That's not happening. No, but it will be a bigger. I will say this. So Potions is a midweight game. Manatees is lighter. Mines would be midweight. Just Potions. This game would be a little bit heavier. There'd be like minis in it. So there would be a little bit more going on. I'm excited for the idea. I think the theme's really cool and the mechanics really good. I just have to make the whole actual game good.
Yeah, just gotta make the game. Have a concept of a plan.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it is. Like, I know what I want to do, but like in your mind, you say like, this would be so cool, but you're like, but what does it actually do, and why is it interesting? I have no idea. So
awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you came to talk to me today, Gray. Is there anything else you want to hype up? Anything else? Where can we find you? Where's the other than Kickstarter? Anything else that you want to talk about that you're working on?
Nothing.
What can I do to cheer you on?
I mean, come to Dice Tower West. Don't let your boss get in the way.
Can you talk to Tyler about maybe a per diem or like a commish for everybody I send to your table?
I'll send it his way. He's the business guy in the relationship, so I'll send it to him. Let him
throw it up the ladder. See what.
Well, I know that you messaged him on Instagram when you saw the Manatees thing. You're like, "Where's my copy?" And he instantly
delivered.
He was like, "Oh, I'm such a fool."
He delivered, but no, I was not fishing for a copy. I was joking. I will gladly pay for the second box cover. So
We want people that are excited about the game to show people, and you're a great example of someone who's very excited to show people games, and that's all we need. Because while we can make games, our marketing is leaves something to be desired, and so anyone that knows more that's great. So we appreciate you.
I see you're working on your website. It's getting some updates.
Yes, so that, oh boy, that has been, I luckily haven't been doing that at all. That's been all Tyler, but that has been a difficult last few months. But it is finally done. It's up. It's good to go. You can buy potions on there. It's the Kickstarter version. So we have an amount of stock left of the Kickstarter versions, the deluxe and the regular. We're going to be bringing those to Dice Tower West and SaltCon. But once they're gone, they're gone. We don't have more. We're not making more.
Good to know. Good to know.
Might make some in the future with mines if there's a huge demand. But because Lucky Duck is printing our game, going to like mass market, we don't intend to ever print again. Yeah, I see a nose. Oh, hello.
My baby, my puppy.
It's a big
she
puppy.
Needs attention. I was at work right before I hopped on with you, so she's like, "Mom,
pull her up a chair, have her sit right there next to you."
Oh, you'll be here. It's a whole different podcast. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but Lucky Duck is coming to retail, and I think it's May is the current date. So it'll be in like your normal game stores in May, but it won't be. It'll be the retail edition. It's not gonna be all deluxeified. It's not gonna have the game trays.
Not chunky boys.
Not the chunky boys.
It'll be potions. Oh, I love them.
Yeah, and the deluxe did come out great. We used Panda for that game, and they're a little more expensive, but their quality is exceptional. They really don't skimp on anything there. So A+ to them for that.
Absolutely. So is Warped Reality looking on taking any other designers, or are you just going to stay like an in-house publisher?
Good question. So we've always floated that idea around. We have never solicited for games, but we've had people reach out to us just on their own. Most of what we've seen has not been interesting enough or unique enough for us to move on, but we did get a submission from someone recently. I will not say who or what it is, but that we were interested in. We thought it had legs. It was a cool design. We aren't moving forward yet, but that's also partially just because we're a young company with only our second game. We don't even know how it's going to go, but we are open to those things. But we're it's more me. I'm really picky. If
you're going to put your name on it, it's got to be something you love.
And I have to believe in my mind that it's something that is at least as good as I could design or better, right? If I see something, I'm like, this isn't that impressive to me. But we have one person though that we're pretty interested in right now. We've been talking to them. They know we've had multiple correspondence. So that's possible. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I wish you lots and lots of luck with the launch. Again, February 25th on Kickstarter. Look for Manatee Sanctuary.
I'll point out, you can go now and sign in and sign up. There's a VIP group you can join.
Yes.
And if you do that, you get the mini expansion for free.
And you can see the second cover art now. The VIP Insider. So you can go to Kickstarter and start following it now. You don't have to wait till the 25th. We've got the website, Instagram, anywhere else that you kind of want people to follow and keep in touch?
Honestly, Instagram, Facebook is the best. We're really bad at it. It takes a lot of effort.
Super great marketers.
Yeah, I know, right? I've been doing a lot better job this time. I don't even see half of it. I'll go on my Facebook and I'll be like, "We posted something today." What did we post?
Oh, no post. Warped Reality Games posted something.
What are we doing? Facebook and Instagram definitely the best. Other than that, just come see whoever is watching this. Come see us at Dice Tower West and SaltCon if you're going, and if you're not going, go. Obviously.
Are those the only two conventions you're doing this year?
Those are the two main ones just because they coincide with the launch of Manatees. We might go to Gen Con, but we are very uncertain on that.
Dice Tower East.
We probably won't be hitting Dice Tower East this year.
I know. You said it was so far last time.
It is. It's really far.
Because you're Arizona-based, correct?
Arizona-based.
Arizona-based.
Right where the Manatees are, hence Manatee Sanctuary.
Yeah.
They're just thrown around.
See all those manatees walking down the street in Arizona.
Exactly. But so those are the main ones we're hitting, and then we've got a bunch that are up in the air, but not quite sure yet.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Gray, so much for your time. Again, I wish you luck with your launch of Manatee Sanctuary. And go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, Gray Baker. I always want to say Barker. I want to tell you Gray Barker, Gray Baker, and Warped Reality Games.
Thank you.